Oh, welcome to Retrotainment. Back here with my co-host, capital C, capital O, Greg. How are you doing, buddy?
What's happening, homie?
Nothing much, nothing much. We're also joined by the one of the other co-hosts of the Retrotainment recast and the host of the Sherlock Reel, Carl Sherlock. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Let's call it a spade a spade. I'm basically a co-host here on
I
Retrotainment.
was,
the
I
way
was,
it
I was,
goes.
I was generally gonna go. You're a Retrotainment alumni now.
Yeah. Yes, but I didn't want to say co-host for both of you. I was like, let's try and get somewhere else here. But no, we have you on this year, for this episode, and we're going to go back. Normally, we go a couple of years ago with our retro stuff, but this one's just a quick retro one of your top films of 2021. So you go to the cinema
Because you're the
twice.
cinema guy.
I'm the cinema guy. I saw 53 new films this year.
More than one a week. Let's go.
How many times did you go to the cinema, do you reckon?
53.
No, it's
Well,
more
no,
than that
no,
because
the-
you've
no,
seen a
because he
couple of
goes-
movies more than once.
Some of those films did include, Amazon releases and Netflix releases and stuff. And obviously we're in the middle of the times we were in, so the cinema wasn't open every week this year. But I know I went a fair amount of times, and sometimes it was like 2 films a day kind of thing. So it was
Two films a day are hard though.
it can be
Yeah.
very difficult.
Yeah.
I think the most, no, it was one of the days, it was for a midnight release. I think it wasn't this last year, right? But a couple of years ago, I think I did 5 in a day.
Yeah, it's rough.
You
I
just
was
hang on all day.
exhausted. I was
How-
exhausted.
How salty was your tongue?
Oh, extremely.
How many popcorns did you get? 5.
You nearly need to see the new film again, like the next day or 2 days later
Yeah,
after
pretty
you've
much.
caught up, because the other ones you're watching, the builds up to it, like, you watch all of the Marvel films or whatever, and by the time you get there, if you've sat down and done that, like obviously not Marvel, but one with 3 or 4 films, you sit down and watch all of them, and then you get to the new one. You do enjoy the new one, but you're drained from watching all the other ones.
Of course.
I
You
had
have to go see it again.
I had to watch Endgame twice to really enjoy it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
for an hour, a film was 3 hours long.
Yeah,
What was it?
love
26 movies before Endgame or something like that.
something like that, yeah, and you had to
Something
binge through a whole
along
lot of
those
them.
lines,
I
yeah.
watched them all. Means I watched them all sort of one day after another.
Yeah,
And then I got to Endgame and I was sitting there going, "Sure, I seen this the other day."
Yeah, it's tough, but yeah, we're going to get your top 10 for the year. You obviously have your list there, Carl. So
I do indeed.
go
I
ahead.
have the list here now. I do just want to throw in that I've seen a lot of films, but there's just a couple that's come out in the last couple of weeks that I just haven't been able to get a chance to go and see. 2 from Benedict Cumberbatch, actually, The Electrical Life of Louis Wayne, The Power of the Dog, which is actually meant to be fantastic, and he's one of the favorites to win Best Actor for it.
Jeez.
I also didn't get a chance to see Matrix 4.
Yeah, I haven't seen that myself. Yeah,
Sing 2, I haven't gotten a chance to see yet.
Apparently,
And,
Sing 2 is phenomenal.
yeah, so it's meant to be really good. And then Pig as well, with Nick Cage.
I didn't
I-
enjoy that at all.
One that I wanted to get to see, but I just haven't gotten a chance to see it as of yet.
I watched that and I found myself sitting there going, "What is going on here?"
I'm a big fan of Nick Cage now, to be fair, but I haven't seen that either.
Yeah.
Matrix, I've heard very mixed reviews.
Me too.
Oh, it's majorly mixed, isn't it?
So I can't imagine it would break
Yeah,
into.
I wouldn't
can't
imagine
imagine
it'd be
it's
in
going
my
to
top 10.
like normally if something's breaking into your top 10, and obviously it is subjective, so something that's in
Yeah.
yours might not be anywhere near anybody else's top 10. But from what I've heard about Matrix, it's so splitting of opinion, and even the people that are big fans of it are like, yeah, it's good, but it's not the first Matrix. So
Speaking of Nick Cage, any of his interview that he gave not yesterday, the day before,
no.
he no longer wants to be referred to as an actor. He wants to be referred to as a thespian because he doesn't want to sound like a pretentious asshole.
Okay.
I was like, all right, Nick.
All right, Nick,
I wouldn't
fine.
call you a great actor anyway, pal. But sure, look,
No,
I don't know. He has. He's got
he
his
does have
acting
have an Oscar.
he's up there. But yeah, go ahead, Carl. Give us your number 10 there. We'll start at the bottom of the
I
list.
just want to give 3 honorable mentions as well before we get into the main list, because these 3 did spend an awful lot of time in my top 10, but they were just knocked out over the last couple of weeks. So it's The Sound of Metal. Riz Ahmed's Ahmed in it, and he was fantastic. He's a heavy metal drummer who goes deaf, so he was really good in that. The Suicide Squad,
Suicide Squad was
very good.
brilliant.
that just
Very
popped out of my top 10, and then at number 11, No Time to Die, only popped out of my top 10 in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So No Time to Die, almost getting in there.
Nearly
The
made it.
James
Nearly.
Bond one, I
James
haven't,
Bond,
I
yeah.
haven't, I have to go back and watch all of his ones.
I need to watch all the Daniel Craig ones. I'm not a Bond guy, but
Me neither.
I've heard a lot of good things about this series, so
I've
I do
seen-
want to catch up on it.
I have seen all of them bar his one. I watched Casino Royale and didn't think he was a good James Bond. Now I heard he's only gotten better. So
Yeah.
I
I
might go
enjoyed
back and watch
Casino
it. I'm
Royale.
not like, I wouldn't say, oh yeah, I'm a huge James Bond fan,
Yeah.
but I do enjoy some of the older ones, the Sean Connery ones, the Pierce Brosnan ones.
I think I've only ever sat down and watched one James Bond myself, to be honest.
Was it GoldenEye?
Maybe two. No, I think it was one of the Pierce Brosnan ones.
That was GoldenEye.
No, I don't think so. Whichever one Halle Berry was in, because you've got the height of her fame.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Tomorrow
Yeah,
Never
that's the one.
Dies. I went to the cinema for someone's birthday to see that, and I was like, yeah, I'll go to the cinema. I don't really care what I'm going to see. But like, I was never a big Bond guy. I loved the James Bond games. Now I'll tell you that I used to love playing the James Bond games.
GoldenEye on the N64 was perfection.
There was one on the PS2 as well that was really good.
That
think
was
that was
Tomorrow. That was
Tomorrow
Tomorrow Never
Never Dies
Dies. The one where you drive the little robot car and all.
I can't remember. I used to play the multiplayer on it with a few of the lads. We'd go up to each other's
It
house.
was
and-
Tomorrow Never Dies on the PS2.
Yeah, we'd
That
put
was
like
brilliant.
we'd put 3 bots in, and then we'd play as 3. So I loved the games, just never got too big into the films.
That's fair.
I mean, a lot of the films are kind of the same.
Yeah,
And sorry, before we get into the top 10, there is a little caveat I need to say as well, because it just dawned on me. These are from release dates from Ireland, because there's 3 films on here that was released in America in 2020, but they're only released in Ireland in 2021.
Well,
I
you can
thought
only
they got
judge
rid
them.
of all that.
No,
Well, they had to an extent until COVID came
Oh,
in.
I think COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, so
so
that's fair enough. Yeah,
Jumping in at number 10, and it surprised me that it was so good, was Fatherhood with Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I watched this. I got completely lost with this one. I thought it was going to be a comedy, and I was sitting there after an hour going. So he comes down the
when's
stairs,
this
and she was like,
funny?
Yeah,
"What's
so-
going on?" And I was like, "This isn't a comedy.
No,
When's this getting funny? What's Kevin Hart playing on?
It's an
Yeah.
emotional roller coaster, lads."
exactly. It's inspired by a true story. It's a widowed new dad copes with doubts, fears, heartache, and dirty diapers as he sets out to raise his daughter on his own.
It's
I thought it was very emotional, to be honest. I was almost on the brink a couple times throughout the film, and I really liked it. Really liked it.
Oh yeah,
Kevin
deserves to
Hart
be up there.
surprised me at how well he could act.
yeah. I didn't think he could do it either. And then when I was sitting there watching, I was like, "Yeah, very, very good."
Yeah, no,
Very
deserves to be up
enjoyable.
there. Now, the one thing I would ask you is, right,
Yeah,
it's Kevin Hart that's going to be in it, right? Because he's the main actor, so he's the main
course.
selling point, right? So even if you're going in and you've watched, like, if you've watched the trailers, it's not a comedy, right? It's a more serious film. Does the fact that it's Kevin Hart playing that role sway you a little bit because you're surprised about how good he is in that serious role? Like, if a more serious actor had taken that, do you think it would still rank as highly on your list?
The reason I think the film worked so well was because it was Kevin Hart, and he has his softness about him while still being Kevin Hart. Like, he's still Kevin Hart in this movie,
Yeah.
but he has that vulnerability, and he actually showed his vulnerability.
Yeah.
So while still being himself that he does be in all other films, he showed a different side to himself acting, and that's why. So, different role, like Will Smith was almost Neo in The Matrix, but we'll go back to there. The movie would have been completely different to when Keanu Reeves played him. So it does depend on what actor plays it, and Kevin Hart was great in this role.
I was very surprised. I was fully expecting a comedy, and then when I realized it wasn't,
Yeah.
and then watching Kevin Hart go through the ringer in it, I was just sitting there going, "Wow."
When I watched it, I knew it wasn't a comedy because I watched the trailer and
I
I'd read
didn't
the
either.
synopsis. So I knew it wasn't a comedy. And I was very interested to see how Kevin Hart would do. And I think the fact that he did what he did the role so well actually helps me appreciate the film a bit more, which is what I was kind of getting at. Like, if you took someone who has done more serious roles like that in the past, would
Yeah.
it have affected me the same way as seeing someone like Kevin Hart, who I associate with just
Comedy.
he's the sidekick comedy guy?
Yeah, like say Will Smith took that one.
Yeah, like Will Smith when Will Smith took on The Pursuit of Happiness,
That was phenomenal.
or even in The Fresh Prince where he does the scene where his dad leaves and
Why
he's
do you
known
want
it-
me, man?
yeah, why doesn't he want me, man? Like you don't expect it from them, so when they do it, it really does hit that bit
Of
harder.
course.
So
Yeah,
I think Kevin Hart taking this role, I think probably does bump it up for me as well. When I think about it, I'm like, it probably wouldn't be as high
Like that could have
without
easily
Kevin Hart.
went wrong. His acting could have been terrible in that.
Oh yeah, they
True, and then you
took
lose-
a risk, yeah.
Then you lose a great script to bad casting choices.
I think
But-
they would have, if that had been the case, they would have cut him early into production.
Yeah, I
That
think
story was
you'd
too
know.
good to.
Yeah.
I think you'd
It's
know
well-
from the first couple of scenes, you'd be like, we
And,
know
like-
that he's got this.
That plays a lot. Like that could be the struggle for well, not obviously the wife passing away, but like that kind of chasing down everything to do everything for your family is the struggle that a lot of people have.
Oh yeah, it's a very relatable subject for a lot
Yeah.
of people, So yeah, no, it
Big time.
definitely deserves to be up there as the style of film and the fact, as we said, that Kevin Hart knocks it out of the park.
Shows
Yeah,
up big time. Yeah,
it's been in my top 10 since I saw it, and it was early in the year. So,
Yeah,
up at number 9, was I Care a Lot. It's Rosamund Pike, and it was an Amazon release. So first 2 films are Netflix and Amazon on this list, but it's a court-appointed legal guardian defrauds her older clients and traps them under her care, but her latest mark comes with unexpected baggage.
Oh, I heard
Basically-
about this actually. Yeah,
Basically, she's playing the system. She runs a company that basically defrauds all these old people from all their life savings. She's a cold, heartless bitch in
Yeah.
this film. And
Yeah, I take a lot of offense to that because I obviously used to do home care, like,
yeah,
and like
and you
anytime
used to
hear
defraud them, yeah. So you don't think she is a cold-hearted bitch?
fucking right too. No, but saying how vulnerable some people are.
Yeah.
that Someone
Yeah.
some people could actually do that. Like, is just
but I mean, she'll be going up fighting people basically, and she's basically fighting people because they have people who are, this person is a money racket, so they'll fight and bid and try and get in on this person. Kind of is sick. But
yeah.
you know what happened. You know what happens. Definitely in
Yeah.
the States anyway.
Oh, and I'd say it happens all over the place. To be honest with
Yeah.
you,
Yeah, that sounds like I haven't watched that one. That sounds like quite a tough watch as well. Like Fatherhood
but
is a
it's
tough
worth
watch in a
watch.
sense as well. It's not an easy like neither of those two are easy watches. You kind of need to be in the right mood to sit down and watch either of them, I think.
True. Well, it's a good cast as well. You have Peter Dinklage in there and Diane Wiest.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Peter
It's-
Dinklage is king.
it's a very good movie. I'd recommend it to anyone.
yeah. No, I'll definitely have to check it out. It does sound very good. I think I had it on my list at one point to watch, and then there's just so many films that came out this year that you're just like, Jesus, let's just
True.
push that one to the side to get this one, and then you forget about it, sort of thing.
Well, like I
Yeah.
have a list there, and on Netflix, I went back and some of the movies, and I was like, that's been on it for over a year. That's been on it for over a year.
Yeah, it's tough. It's real life obviously gets in the way as well, but
Exactly.
films are 2.5 hours long, sort of now. You're kind of
Pesky work.
You have
and
to
key
commit
If only we
time
didn't
to
have
it.
work, huh?
Yeah.
Next on the list, so number 8, it was a true story, or based on a true story. Anyway, it was Respect. So it was the
Aretha
story
Franklin.
of Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
It was her career and her childhood and all that type of stuff, played by Jennifer Hudson.
I heard she was phenomenal in this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't see it. Not my kind of film.
Yeah,
not
but
not my kind of music. So I wasn't really too pushed on. Now, if it came on the telly, I'd probably watch it.
Yeah.
But I heard it was phenomenal.
Oh, well, her acting and Jennifer Hudson can sing.
Yeah.
So I mean, just her acting in this is great, and her singing blows you out of the water as well. And it's a great supporting cast as well. I mean, you have Forrest Whitaker, Marlon Wayans, Mary J. Blige, Mark Maron, Titus Burgess. It's a huge cast for this, and everyone comes together on it.
You're not
No
surprised
Forrest
though.
Whitaker.
You're not
Forrest
surprised.
Whitaker is her
Yeah.
father, and oh, he's a
He
bastard.
You're not
can get away with that
surprised-
though, but then he can play the lovable characters as well.
You're not surprised to see a cast like that step up the likes of someone like Mary J. Blige, I'd say it didn't take much convincing to get her
Yeah.
to step in. Like a lot of those,
It's a
Like,
movie about Aretha Franklin. I mean,
you know, they're just like the history of Aretha Franklin, like someone that a lot of people would have looked up to and respected as, you know, what she did and, you know, what she went through to get there as well. So I'd
even
say
the
a lot of
barriers that
people,
were broken.
I'd say a lot of people
Oh,
were
yeah.
just like,
A
if you're
sad
making a
life as
film,
well.
I'd
It's a
like,
sad. She had a sad life as well.
oh
She
yeah,
did.
and a lot of them did. Like I know it's a little bit different, but like if you look at Michael Jackson's life as a child, it was disgusting as well. Like he had a lot of these, you know, singers that, you know, that were big in the 80s, the 70s and 80s that we all look at and we're like, these were amazing. You look
Yeah.
at what their parents were like, and I mean, like Britney Spears recently again has shown that it didn't stop.
It's still happening. Yeah.
Like she's only after getting her like that kind of freedom from her
That
dad.
that was modern day slavery. That's what that was.
That's going to be a great movie in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. And I get like,
Who
and I mean,
played Britney Spears? Jamie Lynn.
but I mean, you talk about like if that film comes out, say 20 years from now, you know, and you're thinking, it's very different because different barriers. Like she didn't have to break barriers in the way that Aretha Franklin had to break them, you know.
Of course, yeah.
But for the star that she was at the time, she like when she really
such a
blew
young
up
age as well.
at 15, 16, 17 sort of thing, you know. People are going to look at that, and the actress that takes that role on, and the supporting cast, a lot of people are going to have been people that grew up loving her music or being involved, you know, have like
Of course.
go back and go, that's what I aspire to be, is that level of, you know, popular and that level of music, and to reach those heights, and they'll look at that and they'll be like, yeah, I'd take that in a second, which, you know, the likes of a lot of this cast probably did. I'd say they didn't even need to read the script. They're like, what? It's the story of Aretha Franklin.
Yep.
Sign me up. I'm in. Like, another very serious film. You know, like these are all. This one's less challenging, I suppose, than the other two in a way, because, you know, this is someone's history, so it is quite tough to watch. But the other two are a little bit tougher, I suppose.
Not all the films on my top 10 is depressing.
I was going to say, I hope, Carl, if these take a turn a little bit now, where we start getting a little more positive, because as great as those films are, I don't want everyone watching very tough films.
Number 7 definitely is a big change around. Although I will say I nearly cried at the end. Number 7 is Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't want to talk about it, lads.
Nah, it's a brilliant film.
I told you all, didn't I? I told you.
It was fantastic.
Oh, well, the ads for this came out nearly 2 years ago now at this stage, and I remember when I seen that first
2019.
Yeah, when I first seen that trailer, I was like, I am so sold on this film already. I was like, 1, it's Ghostbusters, so I'm kind of in anyway. And I was like, but 2, they're not trying to redo the Ghostbusters. Like they're
continuing it on.
They are saying like the old Ghostbusters, that existed. Like that's not something new. That existed.
Yep.
And this is like the great grandchildren of, or the grandchildren of one of the original Ghostbusters, and they find all the stuff. I was like, I'm so into this.
Yeah. Oh, such a good movie though. Really.
And, you know, you've got your man like Finn as the.
He's the superstar.
Finn Wolfhard was great, but I honestly think McKenna Grace stole the show.
Oh no, she did, but you know, when they were like,
was brilliant.
When they said Finn is coming in as the, you know, the main lead, I
thought Finn was going to be the main lead, but McKenna Grace was the lead.
He's about wrong here, lads. It was all about podcast.
Podcast was pretty cool.
He is cool, but
McKenna Grace was phenomenal in this.
Yeah, she really was. McKenna Grace.
Everyone thought Finn was going to be the
lead.
The lead, like, and the ads and everything, you had 100%.
They were smart. They were smart to publicize that.
This guy's going to be the lead. He's, you know, he's one of the top male young actors at the moment. Of course, he's going to he'd come off, as you say, Stranger Things, and then he kind of was the main lead in It for a lot of it as well. Well, no, I suppose in It he's not the main lead, because obviously.
Well, no, he would have been the main lead.
I think he was the
first part.
Even in the first part, I don't think he's the main lead. He's the standout. I don't know if he was the lead though.
Well, Bill is the lead role, really.
Yeah, I'd say
Finn isn't Bill though.
Finn is Bill
in It.
Oh no, sorry, Phil is Richie. Sorry, Richie.
He's
Yeah,
Richie. Yeah, he's the standout.
the guy who
but
played Bill wasn't great.
I think the guy who played Bill was okay, but Finn stole the show in that
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. You know, so like I think everyone, as you say, Carl, I think everyone thought this was going to be all about
Finn
him,
Wolfhard villain,
but they were smart because they used him
For the name.
For the promotion,
sparingly
yeah.
enough, but not so sparingly that you felt ripped off, that you didn't get enough from him either.
Exactly.
And they built a new star from it. You know, like she was phenomenal.
See, I've seen her in a couple things now, and she's just been great in everything I've seen her in.
Yeah.
She did an indie film there, I think it was a couple of years ago with Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Gifted, it was called. And she kind of plays a similar character, a really, really smart young child. And she blew it out the water. Yeah, she's an incredibly talented actress.
Yeah.
Has a lot of good things in her future to come along.
Now, I loved, the fact that, everyone wanted it, give us the old Ghostbusters at some point.
Yeah.
And I loved that eventually, like at some point, you got to see the old Ghostbusters in the film.
Man,
without giving spoilers away, like they are in it, like,
Tears.
Everybody knew they were in it though.
Yeah, everyone wanted it. They, this is what was wanted. You hear Ghostbusters as being anything. There's something going to be Ghostbusters. You damn sure better get all of them in there somewhere.
Like my wife got us tickets to go see it on Halloween.
Yeah.
And I texted you nearly as soon as I came out of it, and I was like, hot damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've been looking forward to that for 2 years. I was like, I was so glad when you were like, no, it is good, because I was like, if I've looked forward to this for 2 years and someone says it's shit, I'm gonna be so upset.
I'm not giving spoilers away, but that scene towards the end of it, the whole cinema just went.
Yeah.
To be honest, anyone who's wanted to watch Ghostbusters has definitely seen it by now. I mean, there's no way if you're...
It's out of the cinema and all now, so...
Yeah, there's no way you haven't seen it by this point if you wanted to see it. Like
That's going to win Best CGI as well.
Probably,
in the Oscars.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
It will, yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. Again, a little bit of a hard
only at the end.
But only at the end, for the rest of it, it's
like,
good, lighthearted.
That got me right. That got me right in the feelings. That was the first film, really, that wasn't a cartoon that Finn sat and watched.
Yeah.
And like
I got remember.
I got kind of annoyed. Kind of the first 20 minutes, I was like, are they just rehashing the story?
Yeah,
and then they moved completely away from it. I was like,
they were setting shit up,
Yeah, no, I knew
hot damn.
When I first seen it, I knew what they were doing. I was like, this is the build, and I kind of got that from the trailers originally. I was like, they're going to build and say like this links back to the originals. So I was happy. Like I was happy for that bit to be there. I was like, yeah.
And the Stay Puft Men were brilliant.
Yeah, they loved them.
Paul Rudd was hilarious as well.
Paul Rudd
is genius.
It's not hot right now.
Anyway. Number 6, the only film this year that I will say I saw 3 times this year, and it's a very, very new release as well. When I first saw it, it only went to number 19 on my list, but after the rewatches and actually really, really loving the movie, it's gone up to number 6. Yeah, Encanto.
I really enjoyed this. I watched this on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Encanto is phenomenal. The songs in it are great. If you haven't seen, I'll just give the little brief description that they have here on the letterbox. So it's a tale of an extraordinary family, the Madrigals, who live hidden in the mountains of Colombia, in a magical house in a vibrant town in a wondrous charmed place called an Encanto. The magic of Encanto has blessed every child in the family with a unique gift, from super strength to the power to heal, except one child, Mirabelle. But when she discovers that the magic surrounding the Encanto is in danger, Mirabelle decides that she, the only ordinary Madrigal, might just be her exceptional family's last hope.
It's the complete opposite of every other superhero story, isn't it?
She's the only one that doesn't have powers, and yet she's determined to save everybody.
Absolutely phenomenal. Stephanie Beatrice,
Beatrice or Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She's the lead in it, the lead voice.
Not the one you would expect to be the lead in a children's film.
That's only if you've seen her Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Like, that's what everyone knows her from, is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I know it's hard. Like, it's not really fair to typecast people in that sense either. But you get very used to seeing certain people as and even like Emma Watson kind of struggled with it when she first finished up the Harry Potter. She was like, I don't want to be just the girl from Harry Potter. I want to be able to go on and do these other things, and she did. Daniel Radcliffe's kind of done it.
Him not as much as I would have expected. Like he done what did he do? He done Horns, and he done probably
He's
Woman
done
in
a lot
Black.
of
See,
he's
he
done
went
a
off and did
lot of
Broadway
indie
though,
stuff.
and he went
Yeah.
off and did a lot of Broadway and stuff as well.
No, but that's what I mean. Like there's two probably biggest ones coming off the back of
He
Harry
also
Potter.
did that. What's the one that he's dead in?
Woman in
Oh
Black.
yes,
well,
Not
he
the Woman
dies
in
in
Black. No, he's dead. It's Swiss Army Man.
yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen
Like
that one.
he has gone on and done other things, but like there's some people that have been a certain character at some point in their life, and they've never managed.
Yeah.
No matter, even though they've gone and done other films, they've never managed to actually break away from being.
That person, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're that person. Do you know what I mean?
Like Macaulay Culkin is probably the prime example.
Yeah, like there's a perfect example. Like
He's done more movies than people remember.
yeah,
In
and
that time period, yeah.
he's always just going to be. There's the kid from Home Alone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not a stab at his acting. Like he is a very good actor, to be fair to him. But it's just that's where everyone knows him for, and it was too difficult for him to break away from that.
Yeah.
So
Even like he done the likes of Richie Rich and the Page Master and things like that, and still Home Alone. Like I know your biggest movie sticks to you. Simple
Yeah.
as that.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
of
and
course.
it should. But like Rose, you see Rosa, and you're like, yeah, tough. Kind of not heartless, but tough,
Hard ass.
like a hard ass. And
Strange.
and then you're like, oh, and then now she's the voice of a children's film.
I think
don't
that's
know
what made it. I
this.
think that's what made it work better because you
Well,
don't actually see her.
True. I just realized as
Possibly,
well that she's also in another movie on my list in the top 10 this year.
So she's your top 10, one of your top 10 actresses in this year.
Well, she's in two of the films.
She's in 2 of the top 10 films. She must be up there,
Here we go. Next episode of Retrotainment recast. Stephanie Beatrice cast.
in everything.
The
Yeah,
news
no,
said
it
they-
is. It's a very like, and this steps massively away from your other film because it's obviously a complete jump to this is now just. I suppose Ghostbusters is kind of a kid's film,
Family
like,
friendly kind of thing.
I suppose we kind of look at Ghostbusters and the nostalgia of it
Oh, Paul
makes us
right in the
feel like
heartstrings.
we really wanted to see
that-
it, but this is
that there
brand
is
new
the only
kids.
cartoon.
Yeah,
That's
but
the
this
only
is a-
cartoon. Yeah,
This is a brand new, specifically made for children. There it is.
exactly. And it's the 60th film that Disney has made, an animated movie.
That's
Oh.
the 60th, is it?
The 60th animated Disney film.
Well, they knocked
That's
it out
one.
of the
That's
park.
one of the best.
Yeah, they knocked
It's
it out of the
definitely up
park.
there.
Fair play to them.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So we're breaking into the top 5
Going to the
now.
top 5, the top 5. And this film was a 2020 release in the States. So the actress Carey Mulligan actually won Best Actress for this film. But it was only a 2021 release over here. It was a Promising Young Woman.
Didn't see it.
Yeah. I haven't seen
so
it.
She's a young woman. Again, it's a depressing film. It's
You're some depressing fucker. You are.
I know, yeah. A young woman haunted by tragedy in her past takes revenge on the predatory men unlucky enough to cross her path.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, lads, I'm not gonna. If you do get a chance to watch it, do watch it. It's a great cast: Carey Mulligan, Bo Burnham, Alison Brie, Clancy Brown, Jennifer Coolidge.
Clancy
Laverne
Brown is a
Cox.
great actor. He gets himself into a lot of good films.
He does.
What
He
is
does.
Bo Burnham like in that? Because he's like,
Bo-
I know him as he's a comedian.
As a comedy guy.
Yeah, like he's a
he-
comedian.
Yeah, he is.
Seems a bit, it's very out of his genre.
He's really good. He's the guy that you really like in it.
Okay, because the other way, like this is obviously a very serious
Very
topic for a
serious.
film, and you're
It's
taking a guy who
basically,
is
it's a
basically
film
just
about-
comedy.
It's a film about rape.
Yeah, but like
It's
it's
not
I figured that.
It's
Yeah.
not a nice topic.
yeah, but like you
Well-
take this guy who's just pure comedy, and you're sicking him in that. I'm like, this could go either way, but obviously he's
really
done
good,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
They've done that recently with Kevin James as well. They brought him in and done
Lucy,
Lucy. Is it Lucy? I thought it was gonna go Mandy.
or it might be Mandy.
Mandy, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
So,
the
yeah.
bad guy in that and things like that. When it works perfectly because it's a real throw.
It
Same
helps
done
that he's
with,
not. It helps that he's not the main. He's not the, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Bo
it's
Burnham's
not,
not the lead.
yeah, it's not
you know.
focused on him.
But
yeah,
give
no,
it a watch if you.
I think I had
like.
this was definitely on my list, but
Yeah.
finding time to sit down and watch a film has been a little bit off there for me. I haven't really had
course.
that at the moment. And then when I do have the time, I'm like, I really don't want to sit down and watch that.
Yeah.
Not
that's
because
fair.
I'm like, that doesn't appeal to me. But because I'm like, I need to be in the mood to watch that. And coming off a long day's work, I'm like, I am not in the mood to watch a film like that at the moment, if I'm honest.
See, at the start of the year, I always kind of look out, all right, which films are, going to be going for the Oscar, and I get excited about them because I'm an Oscars geek.
Yeah,
I love the whole Oscar time.
This is where we find out that Carl throws Oscar parties to head and we haven't been invited.
yeah. Well, not this year because COVID
I
has stopped them.
I haven't during COVID. COVID.
But no, yeah, like there is like as I've said this before on Retrotainment and on Recast, like one of the films I really do like, and I knew what I was getting in for when I went to watch it, was Prisoners. And I did not realize it was going to be as long as it was, to be honest.
It's rough, isn't it?
But when I was going into the cinema, I was like, this is one of the more, like, I tend to go see not childish films, but like, comedy. Well, I go to see comedies, horrors, action, stuff like this. I was like, this is the more serious drama side, which isn't normally my genre. But I was like, it looks so good that I'm going to go see it. But I knew what I was getting in for, so I knew going in, I was like, this is going to be a tougher watch than, to sit down, just, haha, that was good.
Yeah.
So like, I do like those type of films, but I have to be in the mind frame for them.
And I do get that. I Care a Lot was the only film. Actually, there's two films on this list that I didn't know what the hell I was going in for.
Yeah.
And I Care a Lot was one, and then another film that's in it I didn't have a clue about, and I loved it. But Promising Young Woman,
I highly imagine that's going to be the number one, is it?
It is, yeah. But Promising Young Woman, I kind of knew what I was going in for. I didn't know the complete story, but god damn, it was good. And she deserves it. She won Best Actress for it, Carey Mulligan, for a reason. She was fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's definitely still up there on my list.
Or the Best Supporting Actress. It was one or the other.
It's definitely up on my list to watch, but it'll be one that'll have to be prepared for.
I mean, like, rape in movies doesn't need to be done, and when it does done, you should only use it very sparingly.
I don't think they show it in this.
They don't show it.
Oh, did it not? That's
just
right.
It's just highly implicated that
it's like
this is what's happened. Like,
it's like the like for me, obviously, I watch a lot of horror movies, so it's quite a common theme in some ones. When I watch some movies, like if I've seen them before, when it gets to that part, I'll just go out, make something, get a drink or whatever. It's just there's something about it.
I don't like seeing that shit.
Like, there's ways that, like, even like The Last House on the Left and what's the other one? I Spit in Your Grave were made off the back of them kind of stories, like.
Yeah.
So, like, I imagine it's the same kind of principle as that, is it?
Yeah. I haven't seen either of them.
Basically, someone's raped and she goes and hunts down the people that did it. To an extent.
I think this is less hunting and more just she.
I don't want to give everything away.
Yeah, I don't think she hunts them though. I think it's a little bit more, comes back across them and.
All right, yeah.
It's less like vindictive than that, I think, than the horror ones maybe.
I think I'll just watch it one of the days.
Yeah, no, I'll have to watch it. I don't want it spoiled, but I think I know the ones Greg's talking about, and they're definitely more the vindictive, like, I am gonna kill this guy. Like, it's a very different. I don't think it's anywhere near that. But yeah, it's a tough.
Yeah, it is. It is
tough thing to even do, and like I agree, it doesn't need to be in the film. It can be just implicated. But I think in some films, maybe it does need to be there. As rough as it is to watch it, I think sometimes there is a place, but it has to be. I don't want to say tasteful because there's no tasteful way to do it, but you
have to. People have to be warned before going to see it as well.
Yeah, but like there's an like you can imply it without showing it. Do you know what I mean? Like you can someone breaking into the house and. Like even if it's just them bearing down, what's happened, but you don't need to see it happen.
What's happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
There's a way to do it. Not tasteful is probably the best word I can use to describe it,
but not the right way.
I know what you mean.
It's not tasteful because it's not a tasteful subject.
Yeah.
But another tough watch. A lot of tough watches there, but I mean that tends to be what happens when like these are the films that stick with you.
They do.
Okay, get to the comedies.
Well, speaking of comedies. And this is the last of the ones that was released in the States in 2020, but over here in 2021, and that's Palm Springs.
I actually was going to put that on earlier on.
Absolutely, there's Andy Samberg and Christina Milioti or Kristen Milotti, better known as the mother from How I Met Your Mother.
Didn't watch that.
This is a very, very funny film. It's basically Groundhog's Day, but an updated version kind of thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And
Is Bill Murray in it?
Bill Murray's
No.
not in it, no, but J.K. Simmons is, so he makes up for it.
I don't know.
It's hilarious. It's very funny, and
When you hear the name Andy Samberg, you kind of know sort of the
exactly,
style
but it's more
you're going to get.
It's a bit of a more serious role for him as well, because it's not an out and out comedy.
Yeah.
And it's really funny, lads. It
But
really is.
You can tell the sort of style you're going to get with him, you know, like
Yeah.
There's that kind of jokey style to it.
Exactly.
And it works very well. It does.
It's not too long as well. It's only 90 minutes, so you know
it's
it's
a
not
quick
it's not
quick
gonna,
watch as well. Yeah.
And it's great. It really is. Andy Samberg is fantastic in it.
I think back to its normal best.
Yeah, as good as it is, I think it is one of those ones that you can kind of have on sort of in the background, because you don't need to be fully focused on it. Like, you can get everything by not being fully focused. Whereas some of the other ones you've had, you know, if you're not focused on that, like if you were trying to do something else, well, having that on, you would definitely not be, like if you were trying to do, like if you're, say you're sitting there and you're like, I'll do the ironing or whatever, you could have that on in front because you can do the ironing. It doesn't draw your attention so much. Whereas some of those other films, the iron would just be sitting there and it'd be like, well, that was a bad idea. Like, not to say it's not entertaining and doesn't keep your attention, but it's a different type of, captivation.
Yeah,
100%.
A little more freedom to, look away for a second rather than have to be zoned in completely.
Yeah, no, agreed. It's great though. I'd highly recommend it. If you haven't seen it, you've seen it, Ed, have you?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's very, very good. Groundhog Day is probably the closest thing I could put it to, but it's not Groundhog Day.
It's not
either.
great. It's not Groundhog Day, but it's it's the same. It follows the same tropes.
What's that other? There's another film that's similar to that, but it's an action one. Is it Tom Cruise that's in it?
It is. It's Live, Die, Repeat.
Live, Die, Repeat. It's similar to that.
Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's similar to that again. It's very similar to Groundhog Day, but again, that's nothing like Groundhog Day.
And they did it in a horror one as well. Something birthday or
Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day, yeah.
So like it keeps repeating.
That was terrible.
But like the situation keeps repeating, but it's not the same as Groundhog Day, because Groundhog Day it's the same situation every day.
It's so funny because that was so original.
Yeah, but like this is kind of based off that, but the day is different each day as well. It's not the exact same.
It depends on how they act. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the exact same. Whereas Groundhog Day, it's Bill Murray lives in the exact same day over and over. So it's the same concept, but a different spin on it, and it does work very well.
Very well. Number 3 on my list is one that I'm not expecting either of you to have seen.
Thanks.
It is the one with Stephanie Beatrice in it. It's In the Heights.
No, haven't seen it, but I have heard very good things from you. I believe when you sent us this, I think when you sent us this was at one point this was number 1 on your list.
Oh, this was number 1 for me up until probably October.
Yeah, it really held the height.
This came out in March.
That's a hell of a show.
Yeah, it really held up there for you for quite a long time. Now, obviously, if you're not a musicals person, this is not going to.
It's not for you. If you're not into musicals, it's not for you. I like musicals. It's just I always have.
Some people are into them, some people aren't. That's
but I mean, it's just the story of Usnavi, a bodega owner who has mixed feelings about closing his store and retiring to the Dominican Republic or staying in Washington Heights. That's basically the gist of it. But the songs, I'm still singing the songs. I actually have a couple of songs on my Spotify playlist because it just gets me going, kind of thing.
I would say this isn't one I'm going to end up watching. It's kind of similar into the way that Greatest Showman. I heard a lot of good.
I love the Greatest Showman. Yeah,
I heard really good things about it, but I was like, I know that I'll sit down to watch that with the expectation that this is going to be really good, and be like, I'm not really into musicals, lads.
I think that might have been 2016 or 2017. That was my favorite film of that year.
Oh yeah, and like anyone that I know that's been even slightly into musicals, and even people who aren't into them, but also aren't, I wouldn't say I hate musicals, but like they're not the main thing. So if I was given an option to sit down and watch this, which is a musical, and something else, I'd nearly always pick the something else.
That's right.
So it's not one I will watch, but it's similar to The Greatest Showman. I have heard very good things from people who do like musicals. Yourself and a couple of other people I know have been really high on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too big in. I think. Good.
So what you're saying, lads, for a Retrotainment recast, I have to choose an old musical, yeah?
Well, if you pick an old musical, like I suppose Sweeney Todd is the only one that I think I would say I've really watched.
That's probably my favorite musical, apart from obviously the kids ones.
Yeah, like obviously I suppose the likes of Aladdin and stuff are technically musicals as much as they're cartoons. Like a lot of it is based around singing and stuff, and I do like them, but.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan of like the Little Shop of Horrors. I'm not a fan of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, that's fair.
Things like that.
I can see their merit, and I can see why I can definitely see why other people love them. But I just know that to me, it's not like I'm not going to be rushing out to see that. Like,
yeah,
that's fair. Just I will say one thing: Stephanie Beatrice in this, you will not recognize her from the character she plays. You love in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you will not recognize the type of character she plays in this whatsoever. She plays a complete another bimbo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's way different from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's actually a song.
You see snippets of that in Brooklyn Nine-Nine at times, though, when she's making fun of people who are like that. Yeah, but like you can see that she can do it, because when she makes fun of people who are like that in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you can see how good she is at actually playing that bit of.
She's a good actress, though, to be fair to her.
Oh no, she is. Yeah, and like even in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, she's. I don't want to give too much away because Greg hasn't seen it, but you hear about certain things in her background where you're like, okay, I was not expecting that to be
like
part
ballet?
of Rose. Yeah, like I'm not expecting that to be part of Rose's background.
Don't worry, lads. I'm up to 5.5 at the minute. Season 5.
I didn't know how far you were. I was like, I don't want to say that she was a ballet dancer if you hadn't seen it, but
it wasn't actually that long ago when that came out. But yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you're not expecting it, and then you're like, oh,
good old Terry always gets the best out of everyone.
Has she talked about who her favorite novelist and stuff is?
Yes, but I can't remember. No, that was Terry's favorite novelist that came up.
Yeah, that's Terry's. You'll be surprised again by who her favorite novelist is. It's a real novelist, not like Terry's one where it's somebody from the show. Like hers is an actual novelist.
Terry fanboying out was hilarious.
Yeah, I do love Terry Crews. But... Sorry,
there is a song. There is a song in it, in that, and then she sings a bit in it. That if you just watch the song on YouTube, you'll see basically the character she plays the whole thing. So if you just want to listen to that one song, you'll see it. It's called Carnaval del Barrio.
I'll tell you, I did not expect her to be a girl with singing voice. Like like some of the greatest actresses cannot sing at all. She's
not really singing in it. She sings a little bit, but she's not. Although she sings in Encanto. So I mean, she can't sing.
I know, yeah, but I mean,
she does that first song, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
There's certain people you'd think to yourself, great actor or actress, but they're not going to be able to sing. Different talent.
Carnaval del Barrio. If you type that into
I'll have to give that a look.
Type that into YouTube and just listen to that one song, and you'll see what type of character she plays, because she has a little section in that.
Okay. Well, anyone that's into musicals, it's taking a bronze medal here on Carl's list. So
it has
got to be up there.
Third spot.
Who takes your silver though?
Silver is.
Can I guess?
The biggest film of the year.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what will be number one now, because for me this
I think I know what number one.
I think Greg knows what it is.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man: No Way Home was just.
Don't give that away, lads. I haven't seen it yet.
It was so good.
I won't give
no
that away.
No spoilers, of course, because it is only recent.
A couple of weeks old.
Yeah, no, it's only out a couple of weeks, but this is what probably, I think I've discussed this with a few people and there's been a few disagreements on it, but I would say that as Marvel films, like these MCU films, this could be easily the best one they've done. There's people have disagreed and said some people like.
I still have to think on that, but I would say top 5 minimum.
Oh yeah, it's definitely up there as one of their best. 100%.
Is that including the Avengers movies?
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%. See, and this
it's
is
top 5 minimum.
I've made this with people. I've said it depends if you count Infinity War and Endgame as actually one film that they were just like no one's going to sit down and watch it. Now they say no one would sit down and watch 6 hours. I would have sat down and watched that for 6 or 7 hours, no problem. That would have been fine to me. But I do get their point that most people probably actually wouldn't. It wouldn't have, and you can split it into 2 box offices, so why wouldn't you?
And 2 of the biggest box offices.
And I mean, I enjoyed both, and the weight of having to go, oh my god, like what's going to happen from the end of Infinity Wars to Endgame. That like it just built it more.
Was there.
Yeah, it did build it more for you. But this, I think this is better than either of those individually. If you combine the 2 of them, maybe they're better. I have heard people say Civil War as well, which I can't disagree with because I'd
put this better than Civil War.
I would put it as better.
Winter
than Civil
Soldier
War,
more. I'd
people,
be like,
lads, you're all forgetting the GOAT of Marvel movies. It was definitely Iron Man 3.
The best of the Iron Man. Yes.
said nobody ever.
No, there's definitely been discussions by quite a few people that are big Marvel fans. Is this the best? And I'm not saying that it definitively is, but the fact that the discussion is there of, is this the best Marvel film?
It's strange because I thought I was thinking the same, and then I was speaking to 2 people separately about this film yesterday, and both of them said that it's not even their favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man movie.
Oh no, definitely. This is definitely my favorite.
Surely it's got to be better than the other 2.
For me, it is.
For me, it's
this 1, 2 in Tom Holland's one. I think the first of Tom Holland's Spider-Man's is better than the second.
I don't know. For me, it's 3, 2, 1.
I would go 3, 1, 2, but this is definitely the top of the of the pick.
I have not seen this one. I can only go 2, 1 here. I prefer 2 over 1.
Yeah, same.
Purely because I like Mysterio's character.
I really like his character, and maybe I need to rewatch it. Like maybe it's just because I've watched the original of Tom Holland's Spider-Man more times than I've watched the second.
That's because it was on Netflix for ages.
It could be that, but I think it's 3, 1, 2. But the fact that it's up there, like neither of the other Spider-Man films were being discussed as, is this the best film Marvel have made?
No.
And this is a genuine contender as their best film. Like,
well, were the the Tom Holland Spider-Mans?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say the others were Sony, weren't they?
Oh, this is
technically Sony as well. But
they're part of the deal now, though, aren't they?
Yeah, the MCU bought the rights to it. I think this is definitely up there. For me, like, if someone said to me this is the number 1 film of the year, I would definitely not be like, no, there's something better. Like, I could see if anyone said this was number 1, I'd be hard pushed to say there was anything better myself.
Yeah.
Obviously, you feel there was, but like
one other film was better. In my opinion.
I think if someone told you this was better than whatever film
of course, I'm not going to be angry about it.
You'd be like, yeah, I can see why you'd put it there. This deserves to be where
this was. This was phenomenal. It really was.
Marvel are really, anytime they put out a movie, it seems to be the biggest movie of the year, really.
Yeah, but like you look at like Black Widow. I thought Black Widow was very
their
good.
Other releases this year didn't do fantastic. Well, they did good, but they didn't do like.
No, but they knew they were building to this one.
Yeah. But
so they had 4 releases this year. Like,
see, like I thought Black Widow was.
They had. I thought Black Widow was very good. Eternals, and Spider-Man, and then they also had 3 TV shows and
which have
been out as well this year as well. Hits. So I mean,
I haven't seen the content this year.
I think the TV shows have been massive hits. I think Shang-Chi and Eternals were always going to be slight dips because these are the new ones and people need to build into them. Black Widow, had it got released in the cinema and there was no COVID, I think would have hit massive. I think people would have really liked that. I think it doesn't get enough. I think there's people out there who don't feel it's as good as it is. I think that actually
really
might be.
It.
I think it might be one of their better films, to be honest.
It didn't get down to 7. It was my least favorite of the Marvel films this year. Black Widow was. But saying that it's number 17, so it's not.
I really enjoyed Shang-Chi, and I really did enjoy it. But I think I enjoyed Black Widow more. But that could be, again, because I've got a longer connection to Black Widow.
That's fair.
And things like that. But I thought that was very good. But this, it's not even close. None of them touch Spider-Man. Like,
I will say the other Sony release, Sony superhero release this year in Venom, Let There Be Carnage, ended number 50 out of 53 for me.
Didn't even matter. I didn't even.
I didn't hate it. It, but I wanted more. Like, a lot of people didn't like the original Venom film. They didn't think it was great. I thought the original Venom was okay, and I thought it was really going to build from there in this one. But I actually think the original one was nearly better than this one at this point.
The original Venom.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, like that's saying something. Like I really thought they were building something here, and I really thought like the plot line they gave for this one, I was like, this is really going to go somewhere. And then I was like, it really didn't.
They brought Woody Harrelson in as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he was shite.
Yeah, well, he wasn't
Great.
great in it. He wasn't great in it. Like,
it's not being bad. Like, I'm not a big fan of Tom Hardy.
yeah,
A lot of it could be because from Venom, because he just went way down in my estimation from that. I almost preferred Spider-Man 3's Venom to this.
Oh,
And
dear.
that's saying something.
Oh, dear.
That bad.
I think
Oh,
they just
my
went.
God.
I think they had the right. I think they had the right concept with what they wanted to do here, and the execution was just poor. I think is what happened with this, because I really thought this was going to kick them on, and it kind of didn't.
That's why I'm nervous for Morbius as well.
Yeah, it seemed like the darker.
They're going.
No,
It's
the
not
dark.
Sony. It has nothing to do with the MCU.
Yeah, see, the MCU don't make Venom.
No. That was what I mean. The darker the movies seem to be going, the worse they are.
Yeah.
I think it's this is definitely to
It's
do
not,
with the fact
look at
that
DC as well.
I think this is the wrong. The wrong person has this. I think if MCU had been allowed to take even this exact same script and they were allowed to do it, I think people would really have liked this. I think it was just Sony didn't know how to do it. They wouldn't have had
stupid fucking lines like, "I'm gonna rip your arms and legs off and let you float down the street like a turd in the wind."
Yeah, like
I mean, that's almost as good as I'll kick you over that wall with a box.
Yeah, I do love that. I'll kick you over that wall with a box, though. That's actually better. I think the fact that it wasn't the MCU taking this does hurt us massively.
Yes.
But yeah, it was sad for me that this was as bad as it was, because I really thought it was going to be better. I thought this was going to kick Venom on, and I think it did the opposite. I think it might have hurt Venom more than it improved it.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And I know a lot of people don't like Tom Hardy. I think he does this role very well, in the sense that, instead of them focusing on the way they do with a lot of other superheroes who are, in athletic shape, they have these things of, them with the top off.
You know who he reminds me of? How he acts in that film. Reminds me of Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black 1.
See,
I can't be unseen now.
I think what he does well in this is that they never focus on like this guy's in athletic shape. They always have him in the dirty hoodie and stuff like.
I mean, he just acts like a fucking idiot.
I think that kind of is the point, though, like that his character is an idiot.
Yeah, but honestly, that's all I can see is Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black.
Yeah, but it's that's very low down on your list in comparison to old Spider-Man, anyway.
Exactly. Now, number one, I just honestly, I when I saw this film, I said it was a masterpiece, and I stand by it. Last night in Soho.
Yeah,
I still haven't got to see it yet.
Honestly, I'll give you a brief synopsis there. A young girl passionate about fashion design is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters her idol, a dazzling wannabe singer. But 1960s London is not what it seems, and time seems to be falling apart with shady consequences.
Yeah,
the premise sounds phenomenal.
It's a horror thriller.
Yeah, this is something I really wanted to see in the cinema, and then the second set of lockdowns hit, and it was very difficult. And then, because of the type of film this is, it wasn't available. It wasn't in cinemas long, and it wasn't available in every cinema. So I was like, it's available in this cinema, and I need extra time to get to that cinema because it's further away, and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, so now what I'm waiting for is for it to be released. It's released on the likes of YouTube now to rent, but I don't want to rent it. Why would I rent it when I can just wait another couple of weeks and then buy it? And that's what I'm going to do. And that's one that's really high on my list. Even before I'd heard anything about it from you, that was quite high on my list of something I wanted to see.
Yeah, so even looking back at some of the messages in the group chat, you were going on about it before Carl even said he'd seen it.
Yeah, I was really high on this film. I really thought this could be
it's a great cast. Thomasin McKenzie is fantastic. Anya Taylor-Joy is great. Matt Smith is an arsehole in it, and he's great. You also have Terrence Stamp in there as well. It's such a good movie. Edgar Wright directed. And
Edgar Wright's a genius.
Yeah. Now, I think this is genuinely going to, for me specifically, I think this is going to be a very hard one to surpass Spider-Man, because I think I have so much invested in it. So I think even when I see this, I would still say Spider-Man is ahead of it. But
I will say Spider-Man is probably the best cinema experience I've ever had.
Yeah.
But for film, this is just a better film.
Now, and see, this is the thing, and I've said this before, there's things, when I look at, what's the best film, certain things I'd be like, that's probably a better film than that, but which is more enjoyable to me is the other one, because this, for different reasons, but this is one that I'm big on. And I think I was hyping this up, as Greg said, I was hyping this up in the chat to both of you before you'd even seen it, and then you saw it and were like, no, it's better than you're thinking. And I was like, oh shit, I really need to see that. Yeah. I'm fuming that I didn't get to go to the cinema for it. But the second that comes out,
in the cinema, that's the thing.
The second that comes out to be bought, I'm going to be all over it.
I could find any shop that does it.
No, well, I'll buy it on online. But I'm not renting it. I think it's €18 to rent, and I'm like, I'm not paying €18 to rent it.
You buy it for €20.
I was like, I'll buy it for €20 in 2 weeks. I'll just wait. I'm not doing that. But it's definitely, that's really high on my list of things to say. The second that comes out, that won't be one where I'm like, I need to be in a mood. That'll be straight on. Yeah.
Straight away.
And as you say, the cast is there. All of those actors and actresses are just.
So she's gonna go major. In the next
years. I've seen her in 2 things, and these 2 films have been fantastic. I saw her obviously in Last Night in Soho, and then Jojo Rabbit. She was great in Jojo Rabbit as well.
Queen's Gambit is something that she really has stride in that.
Tamsin McKenzie, sorry. McKenzie, not Anya Taylor-Joy.
That's who I was talking about. I thought she was the main character.
No, who Tamsin McKenzie is.
Yeah.
But she plays the. Did you see Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah.
She plays the girl that's hiding in the house.
Yeah, but Anya
Taylor-Joy, she's going way far. Yeah,
she's going to skyrocket.
She's gone
in the next couple of years. I think she's going to be one of the biggest actresses.
100%.
In the next couple of years.
She's straight into the stratosphere now at this stage.
Yeah. She's right up there. Yeah, and she's very versatile as well. As an actress,
Matt Smith as well. You're going to see his name jump up huge as well. Obviously,
he was Doctor Who though.
He was Doctor Who. He was in. Obviously, he's been in a couple other things, but he's also he's one of the leads in the Game of Thrones prequel.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
I heard he got cast in that actually. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. But there's always a bit of a twinge there with me for Game of Thrones.
Of course,
because that last season.
Yeah, I've never seen something nosedive so badly. I've never seen a show be so popular and now nobody talks about it. Never seen it.
Nosedive, and we've watched Man United nosedive for the last 8 years. I'm sure we can deal with one season of a show.
Yeah, but you see, Man United are still talked about as a big thing. Game of Thrones is not. That's how bad it was. This was the biggest nose I've ever seen of a TV show and franchise.
Everyone talks about season 3 of Sons of Anarchy, where they go to Ireland.
Yeah, that's not great, but
people were like, it's terrible, but it's still good in a way. And I mean, it's cringy.
I think a lot of Irish people felt it was terrible. I don't think American people.
I quite enjoyed that show that season.
Yeah, I think American people didn't find that as cringy as we did. I think we did because we knew how bollocks it was. But I think, if you're looking at a wider audience who don't know anything about Belfast and about Ireland, they probably thought it was, this is really good. So I think that was a little bit different, whereas Game of Thrones really did nosedive. So there's always a bit of a twinge, but I am hopeful that this prequel to it is going to be quite good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great list anyway.
Here's my list, lads. Top 10 list.
Just before we sign off, Carl, what was the worst movie of the year?
Namaste Walhalla.
Okay, what was the second worst movie of the year, Carl?
Second worst film, I can run through. I won't go into a description. I'll just run through my bottom 10 there, real quick.
Yeah.
Wait! You missed out on the best film of the year, Carl, and that was Fast 9.
No, well, I mean, the best film of the year was Space Jam, but like, let's.
My bottom 10, I'll go through real quick. Gunpowder Milkshake, Vacation Friends,
I enjoyed
Songbird,
that.
Hitman's Wife, Bodyguard, Coming to America,
Oh, that was terrible.
Freaky, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, The Green Knight, Fast and Furious 9, and Namaste Wahala.
It's the second worst movie of the year.
But Family, Carl, you know?
Family means fuck all in that
Yeah.
movie because it was fucking awful. That's the
Yeah.
only thing you can use to describe that.
See, the thing is, I haven't seen it, but
Don't bother.
it brought me so much joy for the amount of memes that we got out of it that I was like, yeah, I'm already a big fan of it because of just that one thing. I don't even know if
I'll tell you what.
that's a real thing. Like,
Watch it. No, it's not. Watch it and come back to me and tell me how much love you have for it, because I have
So
zero
bad.
love.
now see, that's the thing. I don't need to watch it because the best
It'll-
bit of it is the fact that he says family once, and everyone jumped on that. And I was
He
like,
says,
"Grand."
he says family in every one of them.
Yeah, but this one seems to be the one everyone's jumped on, so I'm
Yeah.
happy with this.
There's always more room for family.
Yeah, well, I'm happy with that. It was a good film as far as I was concerned because I never had to watch it, and I got loads of laughs out of it without ever having watched it. But
Yeah,
no.
Namaste Wahala. It was it was on Netflix. That's where I saw it. It was a Bollywood and Nollywood crossover.
And it can stay a Bollywood, Nollywood, Collywood, whatever you want to call it, crossover, because I ain't
Wasn't very
watching it.
good.
Yeah,
Wasn't very good.
well, it's a great top 10 list anyway.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything there for everyone. So
Exactly.
if anyone didn't catch anything in 2021, there's your list. There's the things that
There's something catch
There-
up on.
There's what the cinema guy said to go watch, so go
Yeah.
watch them.
now this will obviously, hopefully, if we're still going in a year's time, that we're planning to do this every year. And
Every January.
myself and Greg have decided that for this year we're going to try and make a
Keep
list of the 2022 releases.
That we've
So
seen.
I have two lists going co-concurrently. So I have all the films, every film that I see, and then the second list is all the new films, and they're the ones that I rank.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna try and do it as well. When we do that, obviously we won't talk about them as much because otherwise the show would be extraordinarily
course.
long. But we will see how many break into the three of us's top 10 and
Exactly.
where the differences are of, well, I had it as 2 and I had it as 6 and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see that, and that's
And then what you'll
hoping
get
to
from
do.
me is I didn't see it.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it. So your top 10 will just be the 10 films that you did see.
No, I'll watch them. I just don't
they'll
get to
all
go. I just don't get to go and see them all in the cinema. That's all.
They'll all be children's
Of course.
films because that's what you watch with the kids, and all of your top 10 films will be the 10 films you watched with the children.
Encanto.
Yeah, but no, that's it for this episode. Obviously, like, share, subscribe, and everything to our new channel, Retrotainment. It's the same
Let us
content.
know what your list is.
Yeah,
Let us know what your list.
If you've managed to get to either the cinema or watch things either on Netflix, Amazon, Now TV, or whatever way you watch your films, give us a list below and see how comparative it is to Carl's. But until next week, good luck.